It's Friday, July 8th, 2022, and this is Gen Excelsior, the Mostly Marvel podcast. I'm Dennis, and I'll be your host as we review the latest happenings across all media, as well as other superpowered stories that may have caught our attention. And when I say we, I'm referring to the special panel of nerds joining me this evening. And let me just get them out here right now. First up, is the only co-host I got. It's Ricky.
Hello.
I just want to make it, I just wanted to really sell you as like,
I'm the only option.
I mean,
so.
you're my only option. So
I should ask for a raise.
Good luck with that. And then our special guest, I don't mean to make this sound like a consolation prize, I promise, is an artist and an illustrator, and pretty much the only person besides Ricky that I could count on to watch all the things that we're going to be discussing tonight. It's Lindsay.
Hello, happy to be here again. And Ricky, back. I love your shirt. It's so colorful.
You took notes from amazing. Butcher, didn't you?
I took a risk. Went to the old Nordstrom rack.
Nice.
And, saw this bad boy.
It's a pretty good shirt, Ricky.
Yeah, it's great. It does look kind of Butcher-esque, but Butcher.
It does look like a Billy Butcher shirt for sure.
I'm like a flamboyant Butcher. I'll take it.
Nice.
I think he's flamboyant in his own ways.
Yeah, he mostly wears like dark colors though, right?
Yeah.
I think a trench coat.
Well, welcome back, Lindsay.
The trench coat with the pink inside.
Lindsay, I just want to point out it's really funny. Whenever I create the thumbnails for the show, I use previous visits from my guests because obviously I don't have a picture of you from today to use. You used the same virtual background last time.
Kamala.
Did you mean to do that?
Yeah, I remembered that I used it last time.
Oh, okay, cool.
I thought it was thumbnail background.
The thumbnail is going to look pretty similar again.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a really good background and it's appropriate for our discussion today. So
yeah,
might as well.
Yeah, it's awesome. I guess that's really for anybody who's not able to watch. She's using a virtual background of Kamala Khan's bedroom.
Mm-hmm. It's like I'm right there in her room, which
being
really
all creepy and stuff. Being all creepy. And we already got some comments, so I'm gonna get my formalities out of the way. There's Clark saying Magnum PI with the stash is what Ricky looks like.
Oh yeah.
Formalities out of the way. Fun show in store. I think it's really jam-packed tonight. As advertised, we're gonna be putting a spotlight on the most recent episodes of both Miss Marvel and The Boys, as well as Thor, Love and Thunder.
That's three things.
And we're going to do them in that order so that, for spoiler risks, you're less likely to be spoiled by Miss Marvel.
In order of appearance.
And then, in order of appearance. So that way. Yeah, exactly. Well, technically I watched Thor before The Boys, but.
Really? I guess I did too. Yeah. Sorry.
It's like a happiness sandwich, kind of, because you have like a really positive thing and then a really dark, angry thing, and then like a really positive thing.
Yeah. But we're gonna do them in that order, so that way anybody who wants to dip out along the way can, and then come back later after they've consumed all the other content. But before we do all that, we will have some nerd news to discuss, and hopefully, when I say fingers crossed on this one, I need it to be a quick round of trivia.
Oh, I can be done right now.
No.
Let's just skip it.
The trivia? No, you spent all day saying I'm so excited.
No, I'm excited about the game. I am. I like the games.
I'm
not good at the trivia, but I like the games.
And for those of you joining us live, don't be shy. We'll be checking the comments regularly, like I did already. And if you can't get enough of us, you should visit patreon.com/denxmedia, where you'll find a variety of creative offerings, including recent episodes of our live after show, The Soapbox. Patrons get exclusive access to chat with us, but if that's not your thing, don't worry. We'll be releasing it to the public next week. And then as an exciting bonus, I think, Lindsay, you are planning for The Soapbox tonight to actually do live drawing. I think we're
I'm
gonna
gonna
try.
try. I'm gonna
we're gonna
try and
try
see
that.
how it goes.
Yeah,
So it
We're
might
gonna.
be digital. I also have my trusty Posca pens right next to me in case the
Ooh,
digital
that's
doesn't
old
work
school right
out.
That's gonna be
there.
cool.
Posca pens are amazing. I love them.
Yeah, it's either gonna be maybe Miss Marvel, maybe Valkyrie, maybe
Maybe Singularity.
Jane
Who
Foster
knows?
Thor.
Whatever
Who
I'm
knows?
feeling at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. But anyways, I think that's all the formalities out of the way. So now we can say, welcome back, Lindsay. I think you were last year on Hawkeye when we needed you in a pinch then too, because it was like our Christmas episode.
Which episode were you
Here
on?
to
The Hawkeye one?
pinch.
Was it the
I
Christmas
think
one?
it was like Christmas or it was a holiday. And I was like,
Christmas
wait, why
or
are
New
you guys
Year's
doing
Eve.
a show?
The day after
one of the two.
Christmas?
No. Something like that. It was like on the holiday.
Either Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. They were both on Fridays.
Yep.
It was one of the two. Whichever week Hawkeye ended, which I think was Christmas Eve week.
Yeah. Well, happy to be here to talk about Thor and all the goodies of Norse stuff that are happening.
Yeah. I know you're a big Norse mythology fan, and you weren't a Marvel fan before we met. And I think it's been a fun journey over these last 12 years to watch you geek out with all this stuff, pretty much at the same pace that Ricky has too, right? You've consumed it all at the same time.
I was pretty in tune with the basic Marvel stuff.
Yeah, I had tried Marvel growing up and it just wasn't really, it didn't feel like it was for me at the time. I was really into comics though. Neil Gaiman, loved a lot of independent press stuff. But it was cool to get back into Marvel and have you kind of show me a couple of the different storylines that you thought I'd like and have that curated experience.
Yeah.
I had a good friend in grade school named Esteban who was a much more proficient reader than I was. So he would read all of the Star Wars books, all of the I have some Marvel books too, like some actual novels, like a Spider-Man Sinister Six novel and stuff. But he would read them
really?
And then he would tell me the stories from the books. And I'm like, oh man, that sounds super cool. And so I had this weird auxiliary knowledge of all this stuff. And then of course you guys make fun of me, but my listening of famous arcs is just I like to consume my content.
Yeah. Well, just curious, outside of the comic book stuff, lately, what have you been nerding out on? That's for both of you. I kind of know Lindsay's answer, but
a thing called school. It's kind of the
you never know how to answer this question.
I really don't, because I come home, I do school, I do the school, and then I do the Fortnite, and I go to bed.
Then
every now and then
Fortnite.
Yeah,
we've been playing Fortnite together a couple of times this week.
It feels good.
It's nice to see you back in Fortnite.
It's just a good game of the year every year. Fortnite. I bought the dumb Thor skins.
I'm thinking about it. I'm still thinking. I've been nerding out on two main things. I'd say one of them is just art and art stuff that I've been working on in general. We can talk about that a bit later. And then Dennis and I have also been watching The Bear, which is an FX show that's all about food. And I'm a huge foodie. I love to cook. I grew up in a restaurant family. I love that show. Yes, it's so good.
It is.
The characters are amazing.
Excellent.
So if you're a food geek, if you have read everything Anthony Bourdain ever wrote, may he rest in peace, definitely check out The Bear.
It's Ricky, it's actually executive produced by Hiro Murai, who is one of the main producers of Atlanta.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's got a very similar feel, but it takes place in Chicago. You're getting very Chicago-ish stuff going on, and it's really dirty restaurant culture, dirty food culture, and it's got Jeremy Allen White, who has played Lip in Shameless. I don't know if you ever know him, but he's a great actor in Shameless, but he's
really good in this show.
Yeah,
actually, honestly, all of the performances are really good in that show.
It's on Hulu.
All the food photography is amazing, and
it says it's FX, but it also says Hulu original. So maybe FX just developed it specifically for Hulu. It's super
know.
good. 8 episodes, awesome stuff. But yeah, and then I've been also nerding out on The Offer on Paramount Plus. It was all about the behind the scenes of The Godfather, and rest in peace, James Caan just passed away yesterday. That was weird timing because I was literally telling Lindsay a story about something James Caan did in that movie, like on Wednesday, and then on Thursday he was passed away.
To me, he's just the dad in Elf.
He's also the dad in Elf, and he's awesome in Elf too, you know. So, but yeah. Anyways, I highly recommend you and the missus try out The Bear. I think you guys
they make that spaghetti we made the other week.
They make the spaghetti.
Yeah, they do.
They did make the spaghetti.
Does it taste better?
They made the spaghetti.
They did it right
stuff.
because
they added
put the basil. They put the basil that I said it was missing.
Spoilers.
I think I want to try a different recipe because I didn't know what to do with that onion.
Yeah. Oh, I just ate it. Yeah, we put it on.
We ate it. We ate it separate, but I want to use it.
You put it on toast. We put it on hot dogs.
I just have this weird half an onion.
So for anybody who's just a little confused, this is a family affair tonight. So we're all related, even if we don't all look it. This is a family, and sometimes we have family virtual meals because Ricky lives far away. And so we had a spaghetti night the other night, and it just so happens it's a very similar spaghetti dish to the one that the chef makes in The Bear. So
it's just butter and onions and tomatoes, so it is delicious.
But I think we're done plugging The Bear. Really quick before we move on to before we plug anything else. Lindsay, you were mentioning you have art stuff that you're ready to plug. Why don't you plug that right now, and then we'll let you plug it again at the end of the show. I just want to get it out there now while people are still tuned in.
Sounds good.
What's going on?
Yeah, I have like 2 really exciting art auctions that are coming up, especially for folks who are local in San Diego. The first one is an Artists in Solidarity auction, which is starting in July 17th. And this is an auction with like just tons of amazing artists. I have 3 pieces in it, and it's to benefit migrant families. So all the proceeds for that will be going to Border Kindness and No Mas Muertes, which are 2 organizations benefiting migrant families. And then a second auction that I just finished making something for is Shoe Painting for Art Reach San Diego, which is this other amazing organization that does art education in San Diego. I painted these really cool, like 7.5 black vans. And I think there's over 100 other artists putting shoes in this auction. So definitely go check those out if you're into
Ricky,
picking up shoes.
They're pretty cool.
Or unique art. There's a ton of interesting ones in there that I've already seen.
Hit you up. I had some, like one of my first big purchases I ever made with my like high school work money was I bought custom Daft Punk vans. And I wore those things to the ground. And I still have them. But
that's where you do wear them, just so you know.
I need to re-up, Lindsay.
Yes. Check out the auction then when it goes live.
And then auction.
Nice. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. Like, we have so many people come on the show, and I'm always asking people if they got anything to plug, and they're like, nope. Nothing to plug, and I'm so happy to have you have something to plug. That's great.
I always have things to plug, so happy to bring them in.
Nice.
ABP.
All right, Ricky. I think it's going to be I have a feeling it's going to be a quick news week, but let's do it.
Yeah. I didn't have the button ready. Oh. Yeah. Look at this. So Comic-Con is 2 or 3 weeks away, right? So
no, it's a week and a half away. It's a week and a half away.
Week and a half away?
Yeah. I don't know time either. So
there is a Comic-Con later this month in which a Marvel Studios will be there. And like every year around this time, the ship gets a little leaky. Now, we don't like to comment on rumors and speculations here at Den X Media, but
that's all you do. That's all you do.
Deadline's a
literally all
pretty
you
trusted source. So they got Julius Ona set to
Dude,
direct.
Deadline was the source last week that I told you said Comic-Con would not have Marvel Studios, and you said, "Well, you can't trust Deadline."
You can't trust Deadline, but you can today.
What the hell?
Captain America
Awkward.
4,
Awkward.
which is known. That's something that I don't. Tomorrow has not announced the Captain America 4.
Yes,
but,
they did. Yes, they did.
All that we know is Captain America will return.
No, they did announce. They announced that they were. Yeah, they did. They announced like after Falcon and Winter Soldier that they were writing the next movie.
Yeah, but
Then
it's not confirmed.
Yes, it is. That was from Marvel. They said they were doing that. You're saying you didn't get a fancy title card put in front of your face.
Yeah, we're gonna get that in 2 weeks.
The same thing
at
as announcing it
on Saturday.
It's already been known that there is a Captain America.
Yeah, just like
title cards didn't happen, bro.
Yeah, it's not real. Just like the Spider-Man 4 movie, like it's.
I need that logo.
No.
We need that logo before it's official.
No.
Graphic designers, get on it.
Mm-hmm. Julius Ono is going to be directing that film.
What film? What film's he directing?
Captain America 4.
Oh, I thought that wasn't announced yet.
The Cloverfield Paradox.
I thought that movie doesn't exist yet, though.
It's going to by trusted source Deadline.
Moving on.
Same boat. Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are returning for the Echo series. This is from the Hollywood Reporter.
Yay!
Another trusted news source.
This has been known for months.
Well, I'm still happy about it if it's true, which it probably is.
Yeah. Again, all this stuff is super nebulous both of them. For 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks,
Who's playing Echo again? I forget.
Alaka Cox.
Yeah, that's right. Never mind. We talked about that before.
There's a little bit more details to this one, saying that Kingpin's kind of the main villain of that show. Kind of no surprise there.
He's kind of supposed to be.
And then Daredevil will be in 3 episodes. So that's that. Another cool little bit of news at Comic-Con. They announced their slate, which actually this slide will be a little bit better. This is going to be the Marvel Comics slate of panels. So we have the 6th year of the Spider-Man, Marvel Comics Fanfare, Marvel Comics Judgment Day, the next big thing that's always an exciting one. If you're into the comics, and then lastly on Sunday, you have Woman of Marvel. Do you ever go to any of the actual comics panels?
I used to back in the day. I used to when I was actually physically collecting the comics. I would go to like learn about what new things they were going to do. So we're talking about like 10, 15 years ago. I used to do that. But no, I stopped doing it. Like I stopped going to most of the comic panels, just because like I was always behind on my reading, after a certain point. But then really like, they're just like the movie panels. It's just like, here's all the things you should buy next time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I'm a little jaded on those nowadays. Like I don't really want to be sitting in commercials anymore for like an hour or 8 hours of my life, whatever. So they don't do it for me, but they do I think the coolest part about the comic panels is they do Q&A. So, fans who have like questions they've been wanting to have answered for like a year. Yeah, you get
sometimes they do like live drawing and stuff at those panels too. I don't know about this specific one, but
they do
sometimes there's fun stuff going on.
Yeah,
the Marvel Studios Hall H panel has yet to be announced because that schedule hasn't come out yet. But it's usually safe to assume that it's going to be Saturday.
Yeah, I honestly don't even usually check my I don't start planning my Comic-Con week until maybe the Monday before Comic-Con because the schedules are constantly being reworked and moved around, and people are canceling and getting new panels added and stuff like that. So it's just not.
I saw a lot of virtual panel stuff this year. I thought that was kind of interesting.
That's cool for people who don't want to physically go.
Well, like
I get it.
In terms of the cast, it seems like a lot of it will be.
Oh yeah, I get that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, honestly, we had a tiny scare today where we took our tests to be like, do we have COVID? Because we don't really want to have that going into Comic-Con. But then it was like, no, we're just paranoid.
You have time to poop it out, right?
You could poop it out.
Well, you never know.
So
I hope they do more continue to do more virtual stuff because it's like more
Yeah.
accessible, like more people can see it. So
Yeah.
But I don't blame the celebrities for like being cautious. So
No, for sure.
or any of the talent, whatever.
yes, please do stay home.
They got more important stuff to do than us. Yeah.
The big announcement
It's fine.
today was Marvel Studios is doing an animation only panel on Friday in Ballroom.
Yeah, animation day.
Nice.
That's your
But
one.
it's in a different spot than usually they put
Yeah,
all
it's
the
in Ballroom
Ballroom
cartoons,
20.
so-
Well, Ballroom 20 traditionally is where Lindsay and I camp all day. We just live there and watch cartoons all day because that
For
is.
those of
I
you
thought we
who
were
are
in. We went to like Indigo for that because they moved it.
Oh,
right?
you're right. No, sorry, I meant
Yeah.
Indigo Ballroom. Oh, they're
Mhm.
making it weird. They're doing Ballroom 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the second biggest?
Ballroom 20
hall
is
there?
like the second biggest one
Second biggest one.
Yeah.
in the convention center, and the Indigo
But
Ballroom
Indigo's
is, like,
bigger,
over at
yeah.
the hotel.
Indigo's across the street
Yeah.
at the hotel.
And
Yeah.
it's massive, like ridiculously massive, but
Oh,
yes,
they're making
Steven Universe fills it anyway.
Well, I probably won't go.
The first animation panel, X-Men 97, Marvel Zombies, What If Season 2, which, hey, where's that?
Pretty good.
That's
Pretty
this
good.
year,
Pretty
right?
I've heard rumors that if it does come out this year, it might be like December.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to be down either way. That one's kind of slipped my mind until now.
I mean, animation takes a while.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But that's the news. That's all I got.
That's all you got? All right.
All I
I'm
got.
good with it.
That was pretty
I'm
good.
with it.
Mhm.
It was.
I feel
you kept it-
informed.
You kept it tight. Yeah, we
Mhm.
informed the people. We argued about the veracity of Deadline. You know, and whether or not
Trusted
Captain
source.
America 4
We'll
actually
say it
exists.
now. Deadline or Hollywood Reporter, trusted sources.
Literally gonna grab a clip from last week when you were shitting on them.
Do it. That's just content for the socials.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. You want to play a game really quick, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, let's play a game.
Let's do it. I think it's so funny when StreamYard chooses to like speed up the videos. Like I could tell that was going at a faster pace. All right, since we have three super awesome things to discuss today, I wanted to make it a fast game. So what we're gonna do is play the good old. I picked a character just out of thin air, and you get to ask me as many questions as you want in the span of 60 seconds.
Oh, this is not going to go well, Dennis.
Yeah, but this time around,
this was not a good choice for me.
But
as
this
you know.
time around, I'm gonna do two things a little different.
Okay.
One, Ricky's gonna go first to give Lindsay time to like see what he did wrong.
Okay.
Second, I'm gonna give you a clue for each of them.
Wait, this is 20 questions basically?
It's 20 questions,
No,
but with
it's
more
as many
clues?
questions as you want.
But I mean,
60 seconds.
the context of the game is 20 questions, but it can be
No.
any Marvel. I'm not saying it's 20 questions. This is the typical rules for the game that's called 20 questions.
Yes or no question.
Okay, but it can be
Yes
any
or no.
superhero, not Marvel.
No, we're gonna limit it to Marvel today because
cool.
we got.
That's all
time.
I need. Just give me
We
the
got
scope.
time constraints. Time constraints. Okay, Ricky.
Okay.
Let me just make sure. Yeah, no, I believe I got it right. I think I do have this correct. Let me just double check one more time before I hit. I don't want to hit the button and then like totally end up with Lindsay's answer being the first one. No, it's correct. All right, they are in the correct order. I'm going to time you. I'm not going to put the timer on the screen. I'll tell you when to stop. Okay.
It's a minute.
Yeah, it's set for a minute. Ready, set, go.
Was this character created in the past 10 years?
No.
Is it human?
No. It's just Ricky.
Oh shit.
Was this character created in the past 20 years?
No.
Was this character created in the past 30 years?
No.
Is this character a male?
Yes.
Is this character a superhero or traditionally supervillain? Or is it a superhero?
It's no.
So okay. Is this character Doctor Doom?
No. 25 seconds.
Is this character associated with the Fantastic Four?
No.
Is this character associated with Spider-Man?
No.
Is this character associated with Captain America?
No.
Is this character traditionally on Earth or in space? Or on Earth?
Yes.
Is this character Namor?
No.
Oh shit.
And that's time.
Okay.
Oh, you went in a weird way this time, man. I was kind of surprised by that.
Where were we at with
We
it?
were going with Sebastian Shaw, played by Kevin Bacon.
Man, that's okay.
What?
Who?
The bad guy from X-Men First Class.
I know. That's a little deep cut. I only know him from the 60s.
That's not a deep
I don't know who
cut.
that guy is.
Yeah.
What do you mean you only
He was
know
a
him from the
weird toy
60s?
from that Comic-Con bundle, too. Hellfire Club, right?
Hellfire Club.
What's his gimmick? He just absorbs power?
He absorbs and returns it back to you, yeah. He was created in 1979 by Chris Claremont and John Byrne.
He fights the X-Men, right? Like, that's...
Yeah, he's the X-Men villain. Yeah. He also is known as the Black King. In the the Hellfire Club is all named after chess pieces.
Mhm.
So
in the comics, did he kill Magneto's mom or whatever? Isn't that like part of it? Because he was a Nazi in the movie.
Yeah, he was a Nazi in the movie. I don't believe he killed Magneto's mom.
On that tangent, I've been seeing some Giancarlo Esposito or hints for not Magneto, but Professor X, and I kind of can see it.
I'd rather somebody in a wheelchair. Thanks. All right, moving on. Lindsay, I'm going to give you. Okay, just to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
It's only characters that you know. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not going to do characters you don't know.
Yay.
Just for me.
No, you know Sebastian Shaw, and that's your bad for not. I would have even accepted Kevin Bacon, and you just didn't even go there.
Oh, we should just always say Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, I just felt like throwing some Kevin Bacon love because he was on Hot Ones like a week.
We talked about him last week.
Yeah, we did.
Keeps like growling behind me. By the way.
Nice.
Here's the bacon.
All right, Lindsay.
It's like a ghost back there or something. I don't know.
This character, I chose this for you. Okay.
Okay.
And my special hint for you, I'm gonna say purple.
Purple.
You ready? I'm gonna start now. Yes or no questions?
Is this character male?
No.
Is this character human?
Yes.
Is this character in the MCU?
Yes. But I'm going to say that on a technicality.
Okay. Is this character Jessica Jones?
No.
Shit. Then, Is
Purple.
this character heroic?
Yes.
Purple, not.
And you said that they're not male, correct?
Oh, I know it is.
Snaps.
Go to space.
Is this character in space?
No.
Oh, no.
Sorry. I don't know who it is either. Is this character in the Netflix TV series?
No. Oh, and that's your time.
Oh, then it was Hawkeye, right? Or Kate Bishop?
Nope. I'm going to tell you who it is right now. It is from the Runaways, Nico Minoru.
Oh.
Yeah, I think we're both.
That purple clue was a red herring, bro.
It's not. Her powers are always purple.
I would say I associate black more with Nico.
Her powers are always purple.
I feel you. It's all right.
I was trying.
I didn't have this problem when I ran 20
I do
questions.
love me some Nico.
Clark
says, is it Jubilee? I love Jubilee. And I love Nico. So at
Ricky,
least there's that.
Most of the time we didn't get your questions on 20 questions either. So yes, you did have these problems.
I should have been like, does this character date robots? Does this character?
Yeah.
You really
just,
specific stuff.
Yeah. And then you just went with.
Oh, see, I forgot Hulu. You
did forget Hulu.
We were just talking about Runaways too.
Yeah, we were
talking about Alex.
They still are listed in the MCU.
Oh, wait, one little bit of news that I forgot. It's kind of related. They renamed Jessica Jones on Disney Plus to AKA Jessica Jones.
Okay.
Like they redid the title cards in the shows themselves too.
What
That's cool.
does that signify?
Well,
AKA.
because Alias.
AKA. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said AKA.
Because the comic is called Alias. It's not called.
Okay.
It wasn't
No, I get
originally
it. I
called
get it
Jessica
then.
Jones.
I just misheard.
But that's
Ricky,
because that's the
sorry.
name of her investigation. The problem
Yes.
is you can't have a show named Alias because Jennifer
Gardner.
Gardner. Yeah, Jennifer Gardner already did. So
That
yeah.
wasn't a Jessica Jones show, though, right?
No, it was just
Okay.
completely. I mean,
It was totally something else.
Yeah, Alias
But
meant something
that is a
different there.
purple character right there, Jessica Jones.
No, Purple Man is a purple.
I was
character.
thinking Nebula.
No, she like a lot of her stuff.
Nebula's
is
blue,
too.
bro.
Purple.
No,
A lot of her stuff is purple.
Yeah, purple bits.
Nebula's blue, but you're right. She does wear purple clothes.
She wears purple a ton. Like that's in somebody's style book for Jessica Jones, the color purple. She wears it a ton. It's in her title card.
There's a lot of pictures with Nico wearing purple and black.
All right.
It's fine.
But you picked the one picture with her wearing
cool with
black.
It. No, I'm cool with it. It's fine.
I thought Lindsay would like the picture I chose.
I did. It was a good picture.
She also had a purple streak in her hair too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's it for the game. It was a bust. I appreciate you guys playing though. Thanks. I didn't put that much effort into it anyway, so I don't care.
I liked it.
Cool. So with that said, I think it's time to move on to our first of 3 spotlights for the night. Let's do this, Ricky.
Woo woo.
Did that play correctly for you guys? Because
it looked good.
Quick, I think.
It got choppy for me.
Oh, it looked fine for me.
It could be possibly because you and I are both jamming up the inner tubes at the same time.
Yep.
But that's okay. All right. We've waited long enough. It's time to put a spotlight on Miss Marvel episode 5. Just, for anybody who needs it, spoiler warning. If you haven't watched it yet, please turn away and come back when you have. You'll thank us later. And honestly, if you haven't watched Miss Marvel at this point, you probably haven't watched all the other stuff that we're going to be talking about tonight as well. And I get it. Busy weeks. So thanks for hanging out, and come back and watch us whenever you feel like it. That was a good show, guys. Later. Have a good night. No. This episode was titled Time and Again. And the quick boring summary that I found on Disney Plus was the Bangle reveals to Kamala secrets about her family lineage, as well as the truth behind the veil. And before I ask you guys about this one, I just want to get something out of the way. Last week, I was setting up basically a trap for myself where I was like, if something happens, I'm going to be really pissed. I'm going to be pissed. And I was saying, because the episode ended last week with some potential time travel. And I was really worried that this episode was going to actually prove that it was time travel, and it would negate everything that was stated in the Endgame movie. But they found a weird loophole where they managed to create a time loop that does not negate the rules of Endgame. And so I'm okay with it.
I had that in my notes.
It is Umbrella Academy rules.
It's just a closed loop.
It's a closed loop that was created by the Bangle so that it always had to happen. What's weird is that means that only one timeline. Does that work, or maybe not? I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know. TVA is gone. Stuff's weird.
Time travel logic. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, the TVA doesn't matter necessarily because that took place in 1942. It's fine.
It's outside of time anyway.
Yeah, that's true. They are outside. They are outside of time. Anyways, there's some time travel stuff, and Kamala got to go see the partition in what would become Pakistan and India. She got to see the roots of how her family came to be, or I guess we got to see that more than she did, right? Because we got a whole story about Aisha and how she fell in love and married a man, and they gave birth to a child named Sana, who is Kamala's grandmother. So Aisha being her great grandmother. So yeah, what did you guys think of this episode? I'm just curious. Lindsay goes first.
Okay. It reminded me a lot of actually The Watchmen, like the TV series, and how they were trying to use like that vehicle, that TV show, to educate you about history. So I kind of appreciated that part of it. I just like the Kamala show. I think it's really fun. I know this is like a little bit meandering, but I'm the type of person who appreciates like kind of that background knowledge about her history, her family, and how they're all connected. So I thought it was cute and fine.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because I was talking to you about it the other day, and you were mentioning how the way they're choosing to tell this story is actually it fits with culturally, like how other groups outside of America choose to tell their stories, right? Like
Yeah. I think we were talking about how I think you had some concerns about them kind of taking that meandering route and like not getting to like the next part of the story, right? That's like how it started. And so I was just mentioning, I actually don't know that much about Pakistani storytelling specifically, but just mentioning that in some other cultures, like there is more of a meandering type of storytelling that happens, like multiple threads weaving in, like thinking more generationally as opposed to like focusing so much on single characters like Kamala. So I was wondering if maybe they're bringing that in. And yeah, not sure because I haven't confirmed, but I think that would be pretty interesting if they were doing that. And just another way in which they're, kind of bringing other types of folks into their worlds.
Ricky, what do you think?
I'll agree with Lindsay. I like them bringing in the partition. It's kind of a la Watchmen, like she said, of spotlighting something that not too many people know of, for lack of a better phrase, whitewash history. But to that point, it just felt like when that happened in Watchmen, that was like there was like 3 or 4 episodes left, right, of the show.
Yeah, I think in
Watchmen,
it was the first episode.
Yeah,
the first
it was pretty early.
It's the first episode. It's the very beginning.
I mean, they've mentioned partition since the first episode of Kamala as well. So the Watchmen is building in that same way, where they kind of like mentioned historical events, and then like I don't remember when the flashback specifically happened. But
yeah. But to that point, it's like we got one more left. It's like, man, it's gonna be a lot's gonna happen next week, right?
Well, I mean, in fairness, Lacey was right. She predicted, or I think either you or Lacey predicted that the time travel would not be the whole episode, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't, and thankfully it wasn't. Like it was resolved before the end of the show, and so. But you're right; they still have a lot to resolve, and I feel like I know Frank's not dead. He's still very much alive, but I feel like I can hear the ghost of Frank all the time with these Disney Plus shows because they build and build and build and it's so rare that they stick the landing on that final episode because they build too much.
Well, usually episode 5 is a banger, right? Like that's
kind of. Usually the episode 5 is the one.
I'll say this: Wednesday came around, and my go-to routine on Wednesday is start dinner once we get home, and once we cook dinner, we'll watch the shows. And the first thing I turned on was not Miss Marvel, and Selena was like, "Oh, Miss Marvel's new today." I'm like, "Oh, I guess you're right." And so it's like, I like Kamala a lot. But I just want to get her. Let's get her going. Like that's where I'm at. I don't really care for the clandestine. Like I'm really kind of checked out with their gimmick, or not say gimmick, but their motives.
I think Najma is a horrible villain. I think she's one of my least favorite villains that I've seen in the MCU shows. Because I don't know anything about her other than she wants to go home, and she's willing to just do evil shit because that's her motive. And she just feels so one dimensional, and it really bums me out because like it feels like it feels like in direct conflict with what that character should be, which is
Mhm.
somebody who's lived on this planet for like 100 years and experienced so much, you know what I mean? And apparently had a child. I would assume that meant she fell in love with somebody at some point, you know what I mean? Like
But
just
even to
like
like
Aisha
just the
did.
entertainment point,
Yeah.
Maybe.
they're not.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
She's just super strong, right? Like there's no.
Oh,
There's no,
I don't necessarily mind that that's her power. It's like I want to get in her head because like she still hasn't explained to me why
Yeah,
she
but
flipped on a dime, you know? Like
if you're not gonna get to that point, at least have her have like a cool, counter power or something. Like she's just
Yeah.
really strong, and it's
she bores me and
it's like I don't want to. I hate to say it, but like when that whole arc comes on, it's like I really don't care.
yeah. I think there is something also to be said about like as cool as it was to do the partition stuff. How I was just reminding you guys that in Watchmen, the TV show on HBO, it actually is the start of the show. Like that's what you learn about like this moment, this really horrible moment in American history, and then you're like left wondering, well, okay, but what does that have to do with anything that I'm watching now? And as the show keeps going and going, it becomes more and more clear why.
Yeah, no,
And I feel like that mystery helped you care more about that event in history. And so like I think the way this is doing it was like they've been talking about partition, and then they just showed you the trains. Do you know what I mean? Like we didn't it was a really light version of that moment and
well, it's
we
also
just got,
I understand the rating difference. Watchmen was not afraid to go into the full
oh,
extent
I know,
of what
but
that was.
but the implication is there, but like it doesn't have any of the gravity and because like to see, okay, so this is how Kamala's family ended up in America. Okay. Like I'm not mad at it, but I don't feel like I'm like enriched because now I know that's how it happened. Like I don't know. It's a weird thing where like you can really trip me up on like destiny stories if your whole destiny was to like just go back in time and save your family, like cool, like I guess
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to give it a little bit more time to develop. I have slightly mixed feelings about needing to really push I don't know, like the violence and
I don't
the
need them to
trauma
do that.
to like make it work. Like Watchmen did show a lot of horrific stuff in the Tulsa massacre. Like, was that necessary to show for the partition? I don't know. I feel a bit mixed about it. I do agree with you. Like the villain isn't super well developed, which is a bummer. But they are trying to do a lot, and I think that they are really trying to focus on like Kamala and her family and her relationship.
And that dynamic's great.
Yeah, I love that. But Clark still keeps thinking of Damage Control as the villain. But yeah, this show doesn't really have a traditional bad guy. I don't really think Damage Control is the villain. I just think they're dumb. Like I don't.
Yeah,
like,
they're just the fuzz, the law, the
they're the superhero law, like, but they could have been a cool villain. But yeah, like that, I think that's the problem is like this show doesn't have a defined villain, but at the same time,
she's like
Kamala
defined,
saved the world.
She's very like simple. Like it's hard to kind of understand her motivations beyond wanting to go home, and maybe they just haven't like revealed that yet. I do think she's been extremely consistent. Like I didn't really see her as flipping at all. I think she was just being very disingenuous with Kamala. And was really wanting to go home the entire time. She's willing to kill Aisha, who's apparently like her sister or something similar, or at least like they're related in some way. So I think she's just like really wanting to go there. And we don't know exactly why. Maybe they'll reveal it. Maybe they won't. And she's willing to do anything to get there.
Turn into a pile of bones.
Even turn into a pile of bones.
Yeah, like she's dead now. So like, is Kamran the villain?
I think she transferred to Kamran.
Yeah,
she did. Yeah, no, she totally did.
But
yeah,
I liked
she did.
Kamala's interaction.
I'm pretty positive.
I like where we're at, where her mom knows her powers, her family knows her powers.
Yeah.
Like that's a cool place to be in now. Like that's the story I want to see moving forward. Like
and yeah, I love the family. I think her family is awesome.
Mhm.
So let's get this villain stuff done so that we can get her
Yeah, I mean,
recruited by the Avengers.
yeah, let's get her playing with the toys.
Yeah, the point is just to set her up, right? And so like the villain stuff is maybe there because people feel like it has to be there for a Marvel show.
Yeah, but you want it to be meaty, you know what I mean? Like you want
but I mean this has happened before.
That's what I'm saying. The ghost of Frank. The ghost of Frank.
Maybe someday we'll just not care about villains anymore.
I know. That's our bad.
Someday.
That's our bad. But right now we still do.
With the new Sandman show.
That's where I mean I'll go back to the point last week of like for this show I think we could have done it in 4 episodes. 4 long episodes and be done with it. Maybe the way it's going now, maybe do 8, right, to fill in the story if you're going to kind of do the partition justice, I feel like. But this kind of little cookie cutter 6 episodes that we've been getting, I don't think that that's necessarily the right vessel for everything that they're doing.
You know why it is the right vessel for Disney?
Oh, it's
because if you're only paying for a month to month,
yeah, you got to pay for it.
You got to pay for an extra month.
It's about that money.
You pay,
but also the
8
show is like the shows are always like an amuse-bouche.
8 episodes cost the same as 6 episodes.
Terms.
To a subscriber.
2 months.
Yeah, it's the same cost to a subscriber, but they don't have to pay for 8 episodes to be made. They could do it in 5, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I want to be excited, but I'm there with you right now, Ricky. We're like, this Wednesday came around, and I was like, I guess we're watching this.
I mean, is it safe to say this was the least favorite of the shows we're talking, or the things we're talking about this week?
Yeah, and that's weird because I really did love it when it started. Like
I like her a lot. I really, it's almost like a Daredevil situation with those shows, right? Like, let's pull Daredevil out of that and bring him with the other toys, and we're getting that. Like, I'm at that point with her. Like, let's get her with the Kate Bishops of the world, the Cassie Langs, and the
Yeah, I feel you.
It's just to intro you to the character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys, if the tone here is a little womp womp.
She's super fun. Love the perspective. Love the bright colors. Love the storytelling style.
You sold me on her. I'm sold on her. The show did its job. I'll buy the toys. But I don't need
sparkly as stars.
The powers work for me. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it all.
Yeah.
Bagels.
Let's just get it over with, which we will be doing next week. It ends next week, so I'm excited. Do you have any predictions? Anything?
Save the day.
Sparkly stuff.
She already did save the day in this week.
She saved the day again. And
I think Brie Larson shows up. Upcoming movies and cool things.
Does the Captain Marvel show up next week or no?
I don't know.
Hulk outfit is back.
But I hope that we're at least like bringing her in. I hope an Avenger shows up in the post credits next week.
Nah.
You did good, kid.
Like
Falcon waves.
She doesn't need it.
Even Ant-Man. Even Ant-Man would be great. Ant-Man would be great.
She's fine. She's all right.
It's got to be Captain Marvel, though, right?
No, it really doesn't have to be Captain Marvel.
It does.
I hope she and her friend make up in the next episode and they hug.
Bruno?
Oh, yeah.
No, the female friend.
Clark is reminding us that another important point is somebody still has to make the costume.
Oh, he made it off.
She's almost there. She's collecting it piece by piece.
She's been in Pakistan for but
4 days. Costumes
she's got the scarf. She's got the shirt
finished
now.
Product's fancy. The finished product is fancy.
She's got the
let's
symbol.
map it out, though, right? Is she doesn't have portal powers.
Colors.
Right?
Yeah.
No.
Portal powers? No.
She's going to have to hop on a plane for 16 hours
until America shows up
to go save the day, right?
America, what's up, girl?
It's like when Falcon leaves from Louisiana to go to New York with his jetpack.
Well, they already glossed over that situation once before.
Yeah, that's just a Game of Thrones situation right there. That's just it is what it is.
Mhm.
But that's why you got to get her a Quinjet quick. You got to get her in the Avengers.
Yeah, Captain Marvel
fast.
picks her up and flies her over. There you go.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be Captain Marvel because I want Captain Marvel to meet her first time in the movie.
Well, she met her the first time on the cruise ship, so.
No, she didn't. They didn't meet. I watched the video.
They're on screen together.
They didn't meet. They're not on screen together.
They're not?
They didn't. No. She flies away, and then Kamala comes onto the screen and says, "Wait, was that Captain Marvel?" She just barely missed her. They were not on screen together. They have not met.
Okay.
Saving it for the movie.
Monica Rambeau comes in with Frank's favorite Major Goodner, and she drives that truck. She drives that truck.
Anyway,
Lindsay's doing the anyways dance.
Okay.
We're moving on.
I'm moving on to the boys?
Yeah, we're doing it.
Let's do the boys.
Thanks, Lindsay, for moving this train along. I was gonna do it anyways too, but yeah. Spoiler warning for The Boys, episode 8, season 3.
It's good.
If you haven't seen it, yeah, it was super good. Great season. Highly recommend. Go watch it and then come back and listen to us bitch and moan about all the crazy nerdy things and stuff like that. Or not really bitch and moan, but maybe praise, whatever. I love this episode. It's called the Instant White Hot Wild. I'm gonna assume it's another title from the comics because that's what they've been doing the whole season. But the fun Amazon write up for this episode is calling all patriots. Let's show Homelander we've got his back, and we're not gonna let Starlight and her House of Horrors get away with trafficking children and drinking their adrenaline. It's time for real Americans to fight back.
So on the nose. Right here.
It's so on the nose.
Right on the nose. Right there.
Lindsay, what'd you think of this one?
I liked it, and it makes me sad for humanity and my soul.
I think that's The Boys, right?
And everything. Yeah, it's so dark. It's so dark. It's really well crafted, I guess, for a violent horror fest. I mean, where you fear for your life because you realize how close you are to the insanity depicted in the show you just watched.
Yeah.
This whole series is 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. That's the cliffhanger for the past 3 seasons. And it just works because they do it so beautifully of solving every problem that is set up.
Things up so
and then they hook you back in for next year.
They just gotta wrap all the things
I just kept
up.
waiting. I kept waiting while the show I could tell it was kind of wrapping up. I was like, you can't end without Newman. Where's Newman? Let's do it. And then there's Newman at the very end. And I knew it was coming, and I wasn't mad at it.
No, because it's set up beautifully. They play the pieces, they play the slow game with it. But to the very end point, this whole season they've been doing the Trump angle with Homelander. But they do the fantasy, right? What's I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and no one would care. They do it, and no one cares. And that opens so many doors for next season.
They certainly care.
And
it's not in the direction that
he was quite shocked.
Human being would expect.
He was quite shocked at their reactions too after he murdered a civilian.
Because he's been afraid of that. Yeah, he's been afraid of that his whole life. And like Ricky said, he's now free, and that's terrifying. And
he has radicalized his fans to the point where they are openly excited when he kills an American civilian. It's what Clark is saying. It's worse than No One Cares. That was such a chilling ending.
That's what I was absolutely agree.
They cheer,
the opposite.
Yeah, it was
excellent.
And we had kind of guessed something's gonna happen like that. He's gonna
they telegraphed it last season for sure. Pretty hard. So I've just been waiting this whole time for that dream that he had, or that
where he just wiped out an entire
to
like
come
audience.
true. Yeah. And I mean it happened. Just, small
Just
so far.
one so far. Yeah. But eventually it's going to be gangs of protesters.
And Ryan's got that Brightburn situation
and
happening
Ryan
now.
smiled after he saw
yeah.
that too.
Yeah, it's not good.
But I mean, taking it to the top, they really do pay dividends to everything they set up this season with the V24. I think you were guessing that Butchers, despite have been Butchers the last episode, we kind of get there. They almost did it, but then they put it.
Yeah, I don't think.
Well, he just has the looming threat of death.
Yeah, they put the timer on it.
He'll just have V, regular V. That's my expectation. He'll have normal V at some point. Yeah, I'm sure Huey will also have it at some point. And
the precedent's there for
situation.
The precedent's there for Kimiko, right? We saw that she was like in poor shape, and then she's like, "Give it to me again," and then now she's super healthy. So yeah, it's probably where Butcher's got to go, unless
he dies. But I don't think he'll allow it. Like I think he's too selfish to allow that to happen.
I think he still has a twisted promise that he wants to keep for Becca, and he's doing a really bad job of it, which is protect Ryan. And so I think in his mind, he can't die until Homelander dies. Like I don't think he's gonna let himself do that. He might die before Homelander dies, but I'm saying he's gonna do everything he can to make sure.
It was a cool moment to see him and Homelander fight Soldier Boy together.
That was weird. That was not nearly as satisfying as when they fought like 2 episodes ago.
No, for sure.
But it was cool.
Like they both know like the fucked up situation that they got each other into.
Scorched earth. Yeah.
But I loved it. I loved it so much. Like that.
Yeah.
That show is it's masterful in the way they craft their satire.
I like the idea of Soldier Boy calling Butcher the hypocrite too. Of like when
they're all hypocrites though.
Yeah, I know, but I just think it's funny like when Butcher finally found the thing that he was willing to say stop, for, and it was Ryan. And
Ryan could give 2 shits. He should have let him, like, not killing kids is bad. Not endorsing that. We could say that right off the bat. But in the context of that show.
Yeah. I mean, I think Ryan's conflicted at this point. Like, he doesn't want Butcher to die either, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's just, he's a kid and whoever he's around and is taking care of him. And Butcher did betray him. So
you can make the case that Soldier Boy was not all that bad in that episode. Given,
I guess, if you want to be the Soldier Boy sympathizer.
It's lesser of 2 evils, right? Of him and Homelander.
I actually kind of feel the opposite. I feel the opposite. I feel like that's why Homelander persists for so long in the show, because it's a better the devil you know situation, right? Like I think that's why we keep having characters like Stormfront or Soldier Boy or who was it in the first season? I can't. There was no actual other supervillain in the first season. It was
his boss person.
Yeah. Stillwell.
Yeah.
But all these other people that you learn more about them as the season progresses, and you're like, oh, they're horrible. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's easier for them to keep Homelander around because they at least know his damage. You know what I mean? Like his damage is very clear.
Did his murder of Black Noir, that whole scene, did that kind of echoes what I was saying last week. There's a slight tragedy to his upbringing and his situation, but to have, like, I guess the one friend he thought he had on the team secretly want to A, kill him, and B, hide that information from him. It's like, okay.
Yeah. I think Black Noir, I saw that coming last week. Once we finally learned what was going on with Black Noir, I think I knew that it was time for him. Especially because, like I was pointing out to Lindsay when we were watching, Black Noir as a power set is pretty much exactly what Kimiko's is, right? Like, it's just kill good. Like, super good at killing, right?
It's a Batman, right?
No, he's like he was super
Batman.
He's just a super powerful killer. and I think that's what Kimiko is. So I think, and they're both mute also. So there's kind of a redundancy on the show too to having both of them. You know what I mean? Like, she's the one that's more fun to have. Did I secretly hope to see a showdown between Black Noir and Kimiko? Yeah, but this is fine. Like, I guess, like, because I think we really all thought A Train was gonna have a moment, right, where he would die, and then when he finally did his thing and it didn't happen the way I think we knew it wouldn't happen the way we in a perfect world, A Train would sacrifice himself by doing something noble, but he didn't do that. And once A Train lived, I was pretty sure Black Noir was gone.
They set A Train up though to be a villain for sure. Just given
well, A Train and the Deep are straight up just henchmen at this point.
Yeah.
They and Ashley too, right? Like, Homelander put them all three in their place and said, Black Noir was worth more than all of you combined, and he killed him. So they should not feel safe. You know what I mean? Like, they pretty much have no choice but to do whatever Papa says to do, right? Like, that's
that painting in the Deep's bedroom.
The Deep's portrait is hilarious because he's not even the focal point of that painting. So good. Just Homelander sitting on a chair with the Deep standing behind him. Awesome. Other characters, I'm just curious, Lindsay, I'm going to sound some off and you tell me what you thought. Queen Maeve.
Oh, she lost an eye. I'm glad she gets to live the bisexual lesbian fantasy and go off and have a farm with her girlfriend. So good job. The ultimate Valhalla for Queen Maeve there.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that she didn't die. I also thought it was interesting that in that giant epic, climax where she chose to be the hero and save everybody by taking out Soldier Boy. I thought it was really interesting that Soldier Boy didn't die either.
Yeah, they just put him in the drawer. They haven't really been killing that many people, but I mean, I'm fine with them saving Dean Winchester for later.
Yeah, it's
I like that guy.
Eric Kripke just loves him some Jensen Ackles, so
yeah,
I'm not quite surprised like fully, but for the sake of the story, I was like, okay, you're just gonna put him on ice until it's time to break glass again, right?
Do you think they're gonna try to? Homelander's gonna. Cause the last episode he was talking about, like, yo, straight up, Maeve, I'm gonna take your eggs and I'm gonna make a new baby. Like,
gross.
Maeve's still on the table now. You have
Soldier Boy, but they don't know that because Ashley did the one.
Ashley did the one good thing.
Yeah, she saved anybody from ever knowing about Maeve.
The cards are still there, regardless.
Oh yeah, they can play that card, but I think for now, she's more of a trump card for the boys than for the other side, right? Like, she's something that we can have come back epically, like in the finale or something like that, because she was giving him a good run for his money, right? She was kicking his ass pretty good. She took out his ear, by the way.
But she was partially to take out Soldier Boy. She had that was a cool.
An eye for an ear is what they did.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was like a circular thing because I think it was the second season, right, where they were trying to get a deaf superhero on his team, and he was like, "Oh, no disabled people," and or something like that. Or it was a blind person.
It was a daredevil. It was a daredevil guy.
Yeah,
it was a daredevil guy.
So they were calling back to that, just like he was kind of getting his just desserts for that.
He's like, just curious, what happens when
I do this? Yeah, and he popped his eardrums.
Did you see in like the Newman press conference, like the news reel on the bottom ticker, they have like comments from like R. DeSantis, T. Cruz, like making comments about the superheroes in the 7. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But to that point, how many episodes in the next season do we get till Newman pops the VP's head?
You mean the president's head?
As soon as he gets in the presidency, like
inauguration. You think they do it that way?
I feel like it's
probably
either at the beginning of the season, or if they want to slow play it, that's the thing she does at the end of the season. You know what I mean? Because remember, the thing is like he's still backed by Vought, so it's basically he's their puppet until he's no longer useful to Vought. So
Well,
it
think
will
they're
be
trying
next season
to
for sure.
they're trying to expose all these different like power levels. So I think next season's more the government level, and so I think
Yeah.
she's gonna pop heads real early. That's my assumption, and they're gonna spend a lot more time looking at government because this time they were kind of transitioning from seat of corporate power into government, and now we're gonna be examining that a little bit more.
That's
'Cause
how the
it's
wire. That's how the wire
On the
plays.
nose.
That's what the wire does, literally in 4
Yeah,
seasons.
I think it'll be quick. It'll go fast.
I say that to two people who've never watched.
I think.
The Wire.
I think also I watched some of it, but I think also they'll probably bring the daughter back. Something bad happened to her clearly, or they.
I was quite shocked that we didn't get to see what happened to Newman's daughter.
It's because something bad happened, so they're gonna bring her out when it's time. Something bad happened.
Is she another love sausage?
Yes.
A lot of them have very like intense powers that like change their lives forever, and you can't live a normal life anymore. So
you know who else I was surprised didn't come back? Little Nina.
She'll be back.
I mean, she lives to fight another day, right? That's pretty much.
She'll be back.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll be back with the. I really think next season is not everybody, but there will be a lot more suits next season or more powered people. That's kind of where I see this going, is the gimmick of, hey, it's your right as an American to take V, and that opens up so many doors. So just to have more powered people aside from heroes. But I'm excited.
That is dangerous for Homelander, though, right? Like, you always run the risk of somebody being more powerful than him.
Yeah, but I think they've established Homelander as like a special, and he was specifically.
He was designed in a lab.
Yeah, he's not necessarily.
He's got a little extra, but Butcher's got the little extra too, so it's possible.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I will say this was my favorite piece of content this week. I like this more than Thor and more than Ms. Marvel.
Okay.
I think that's a hot take.
Words.
As we
Words.
That is your hot take. I think that is quite a hot take. I'm down to switch over to the comparative piece that you're shitting on right now, if you like.
No one's gonna shit.
I don't think he's shitting on.
He's not. No, but yeah, I think we pretty much covered most of the characters. I think the only ones we didn't really talk about were like Frenchie or Mother's Milk. I did like the conversation that Mother's Milk had with his daughter, and he got the validation from her. That was really cool.
Mother's Milk is still the best of them.
Her stepdad is insane.
Yes,
and
well, they closed the book on everybody in terms of their arcs that we saw going on. Like Huey and Starlight are good.
They're good. I don't know if they're together.
They're not together, but they're good. Yeah, we got the closure with Mother's Milk, the Frenchie situation with Kimiko.
He stood up to Butcher, but they didn't really.
Yeah, they had a lot to do that episode.
She called him out on the drugs, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really excited going into it because we're gonna get a cohesive boys at the start fighting the good fight, as you will. Like they're.
I was quite surprised that Homelander let Grace Mallory live too, by the way. That was quite shocking. Like that Grace got away unscathed in that way.
Well, maybe he was afraid to kill in front of his kid. I mean,
it doesn't have to be in front of him.
True.
I was just surprised that she got to live, considering how he was threatening her and how she doesn't really have a function in Ryan's life now that
they just, I don't know. I think they just didn't want to go there yet. They had a lot to
I think that's going to bite him in the butt is what I'm saying. I think Grace is going to come back to the boys because she's got more invested in it now, right? She's been raising
somebody's got to give him money, so
she's been raising this kid, and she was in charge of it before. And I think especially if Butcher's going to be having these problems, I wouldn't be surprised if Grace is in charge of it again, especially considering I don't think Vicky can continue operating like her superhero task force, whatever, now that she's vice president. We still have to have a confrontation with Vicky and Huey, because that was kind of a thread left, right? Like he he just dodged going to work for the rest of the season. But like,
well, yeah, she knows. I mean, she already told Starlight she knows.
I know.
So
I know
it's
she knows.
It's kind of at least somewhat resolved. But yeah, I'm sure they'll have a conversation at this part. But I thought we were moving on to Glorious Valhalla.
All right, we're moving on. I just wanted to make sure that Mother's Milk and Frenchie got their due. But the point is, we love the boys.
We love the boys.
But we got one more to talk about.
We'll do more boys in 2 years. If we're still around.
I'm gonna be playing back that last clip to you at some point later.
You can clip it. You can clip it.
Yeah, that's an interesting sound bite you got there. But yeah, here it is. Actually, we're doing great on time. I'm pretty impressed with you guys. This is the final spotlight for the evening before we switch over to our after show tonight on the soapbox and talk about everything that we forgot to talk about for this hour and a half or so. But yeah, it's time to talk about Thor: Love and Thunder, which just came out yesterday in theaters. So I don't really blame you if you have to check out now. I get it. You just come back and tune in with us later when you get a chance. Because we're going to spoil that stuff right now because, I mean, that's kind of what we do, right? Like, I used to have this whole philosophy of, like, don't spoil it because people can't go to the movies, but it's
can't control these animals on this panel. Not going to happen.
And that's what Ricky does. He spoils shit. That's his whole thing.
That's my only job.
So we're going to do it. We're going to talk about it right now. And I appreciate everybody who stuck around this long. But here we go. Thor: Love and Thunder. Spoilers. Let's go. Lindsay, tell us what you thought first.
Spoilers. Valkyrie is a fan of Phantom of the Opera. That's the most important spoiler in the entire thing, basically. So I just ruined that for you guys. It's so fun. So again, so sparkly, so Viking. It was just it was a really fun watch. Definitely could see Taika's influence. We were talking about that on the way home, actually. It like really felt like his movie all the way through, which was pretty cool because sometimes definitely Marvel movies tend to feel like a little bit piecemeal. Like this part was designed by the studio, this part was designed by the director, but this one really felt a bit more cohesive to me. I really enjoyed like all the strong character moments. I thought Christian Bale did really good as the villain, even though that villain is a huge ripoff of Kratos from God of War. I got to stare at Valkyrie all the time, and it was good.
Did you mention the goats?
There were goats that screamed. Ricky, you know about the screaming goats, right? On YouTube.
I know about the name and then the Taylor Swift song.
Yeah. They screamed a lot. Maybe a bit too much, but other than that, no complaints really.
And also we got Singularity.
Woo woo.
Which by the way, Lindsay, God,
she's
you
pretty.
mentioned that.
Is that Singularity?
You mentioned that at the beginning of our show.
I know. Well,
shame on you.
Whatever.
Shame on you.
I don't care.
Yeah, the speculation, like when I saw it right away, I was like, oh, it's Singularity. And like, yeah, Thor has a new daughter now, and it is the creation of eternity, but it's kind of the reincarnation of Gore's daughter, but with a little bit of extra sauce in there. Singularity is a weird character in the Marvel comics. She's only been around for a few years, honestly. She has been a part of A-Force, which was like the all-female Avengers team. But they don't know a lot about her other than like she is like a small girl, but like a sentient quantum singularity and appears to contain a pocket universe inside of herself. And then she just shows up in the 616 universe after like, I think, the Battle Worlds storyline. And yeah, she's kind of a mystery of a character, but you know, she definitely looks like the nighttime, like when you look at her. And they showed that for a brief moment, right? Like
when she was walking on the water, you could see who she was.
But yeah, I gotta say at this point, you know, like as much as they're taking inspiration from the comics. At this point, Phase 4 is just like flying off the rails and letting it be its own thing, and I kind of dig it. I kind of love that because it means that I have to know less and less about the actual comics because everything's different. You know what I mean? Like Singularity is not the daughter of Gore in the comics and is not like a little child that Thor raises. So I'm cool with it. Let's see what happens.
That's one of my favorite parts about the new MCU or where we're at currently is
they're not tied, right?
Yeah, they're not. It's very much its own thing. Of course, they pull from key points in their arcs historically, but they are very much their own creations within the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just for the record, in the comic, Singularity has powers that include teleportation, time travel, and flight. And it's yet to be determined what her powers are.
She can jump really high. That's what we saw.
Yeah, and she like blasts energy and moved things around.
Yeah, she looked pretty badass. Actually, all the kids in that movie were badass because it was a massive child empowerment movie.
Dude, I normally hate those kind of things in movies.
Power those kids. Do it.
When Thor gave kids all the power of Thor for a brief
I literally
moment,
said in the movie, Zeus, can he
No, he gave
that?
him the power of Thor.
No, he gave him the power of Thor. He said the words of Odin.
Yes, it was Thor. Yeah, it was.
I was like, how did he do that? How you do this?
because Odin's dead. And
I guess, yeah. And I mean, kind of indirectly gave them to Jane as well. But that was kind of unclear. Sort of. I mean, he just asked the Hammer to protect her, right? And that's what that was all about.
But he technically is the reason
that
Jane
did not do a good job because we know why.
Mjolnir did a good job.
Mjolnir did not, because apparently he was like sucking her life energy, which is real awkward. But let's not worry about that.
I mean, that's true. Ricky, what part of this do you want to start with? I know where do you want to go from this conversation?
I'm gonna see if I can make a good segue. I like the movie. This past 4th of July weekend, I partook in some firework action, California legal firework action. And usually you light a firework. There's like 4 stages of like different colors and different patterns. And they're really not connected. Like you have like the one blue streak, the one purple streak, the one crackly thing. And that's how I felt. Each little piece as a whole was flashy and cool, but it just really was, I felt it was kind of just a little disjointed. Like the Taika stuff, I like the Taika stuff.
This coming from the guy who liked Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah,
I like this more than Multiverse of Madness. I'll say that.
Multiverse of Madness was disjointed.
But I don't know. Like I don't want to say I loved it. I think that's doing it a disservice, but I like the parts. I love the Jane arc. I love Gore a lot. I like what they did with Thor, but the comedy bits in between, I don't know. Like I feel like they just ran a little bit too long. Like for example, the Matt Damon play scene, right? I loved it. It's a little callback to the last movie. It's kind of funny because they're recounting what happened in the last movie. But then he pops up again like 4 minutes later while they're in the building like, oh, we should do a play about the attack on the village. Like, I'm done with you. Like, go. Like, let's have this. Let the serious moment be a serious moment.
Well, that was the nose. That was a comment on society. Have you seen Jojo Rabbit, Ricky?
I have seen Jojo Rabbit. I love Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, I mean, kind of my response or thought around what you're just mentioning is I feel like definitely that's where I see the influence of Taika. He's so into this type of like absurdist movie making where you have this huge amount of comedy to kind of act as like the sugar pill around these kind of big theories and lessons about life and how we relate to each other as human beings. And so I think the comedy is really kind of necessary for you to take all of that in without letting it like hurt you or affect you or impact you too much. And that's kind of the idea behind that absurdist movie making.
Yeah.
So I think that was the connective tissue. that level of comedy. It's so that you're entertained as all of this is happening.
The transitions and the ebbs and flows in Jojo Rabbit, I think, are a lot better executed versus the ones here where I think you're having a serious moment at one moment or one time and then instantly do a joke or two.
Yeah, I will agree with you. Jojo Rabbit is a better movie, 100%.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing is I don't think there were serious moments in any part of the beginning of the movie because he didn't want them to be serious moments yet. So I think you wanted it to be a serious moment, but it wasn't what Taika wanted for the movie until it got to the point where okay, let's reflect that because even Jane didn't want to take her cancer seriously.
No, she didn't.
Right?
She didn't un-Jane until like
right, but even her
conversation
conversation with Darcy, which I was like,
giant arms.
I rolled when I saw Darcy.
I'm glad they brought her back. I'm glad they brought her back.
He wasn't there long, so
I know.
fine.
I was so happy that she was only there for the one scene. But she, Darcy's trying to get her to have a serious moment, but Jane's not ready for it. And so that was kind of the movie's way of saying, we're not going to have this conversation until later.
But that moment in itself was a really good scene.
I thought all the scenes were really good scenes. Like, I think for me, the part that was the weakest was still funny, but it was the Guardians cameo. I thought like they really were just there for the joke of Thor does it all, does all that.
The next movie.
Yeah, and to remind you that the Guardians are still around and stuff like that. But yeah,
they did not show Chris Pratt's arms in that, so I was like, he's definitely not ready to be buff yet.
Good. I honestly, while he was on the screen, I was just like, get off the screen.
Well, I like that.
Hemsworth.
That's what you want. That's what I want from all the movies moving forward with established characters. Like, let's see some toys playing together, even for a brief bit. You can still have the movie, a Thor movie with the Guardians in it. I thought.
Yeah, but that fit narratively because.
Yeah, no, it was really well done.
That was where the story continued.
They made them exit in a very graceful way. And then they were done. Like, they didn't come back. It didn't pay off. It didn't need to pay off. They just let it be.
Yeah. But I think for that first hour of that movie, you're just supposed to be amazed by all the ridiculous Jack Kirby awesomeness that you're seeing, like the psychedelic, crazy, like Guns N' Roses blaring, like action sequences and comedy and stuff. Like it's supposed to be an onslaught of just continual like fireworks until suddenly you're just like, man, this is a lot of fireworks. What's going on here? And then next thing you know, like the realness hit, and it hit me so much harder than I've been hit by most Marvel movies ever. Like that I found myself crying when it was time to cry. I felt that, and I was like, damn you, movie, you are great, and I love you for that, because like the only reason I felt what I felt at that moment towards the end of the movie is because of everything that happened before that. And so I have a hard time believing that movie was disjointed because of how it made me feel at the end.
It might be the middle moment, but I'll agree with you in like the, after they're done with Gore in the Shadow Realm and they tell Jane like, yo, you gotta leave, everyone's timeout right now because you guys are not good to go. That scene was great.
That scene was Chris Hemsworth at his best. Like he was so good.
And then when Jane dies, when they're at the very end with Gore, again another great scene that wasn't, I don't feel like it was undercutted at all. It was very earned because you have those established moments, but just the bits in between, I just couldn't. Like when they killed Korg for the split second or stabbed Valkyrie, I was like, all right, I'm kind of cool with that. Like, not that I don't love those characters, but all right, we're having some stakes in this movie. People are dying, and then like Korg comes back, and it's like, oh,
But I think the stakes were really established at the beginning of the movie, right? Like I think we kind of all deep down knew who was gonna die in this movie.
Mhm.
And it was fun to see other people maybe almost die, but like their stories aren't done, right? Like they're not done. Like you don't want the story, you don't want characters to die just to fulfill this sick, twisted, like, yeah,
Mhm.
characters died. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
You want
what's Korg's story in his next outing?
Well, I think Korg's story actually is probably done
Mhm.
because they sent him off in the sunset.
Mhm.
But
yeah, but why can't he have a happy ending rather
yeah,
than
so I
yeah,
don't think he needs to die. I don't
yeah,
think any of them need to die to like make the movie work for me.
yeah. I think Jane was the most logical one to die, and even with all that logic, that
She's in Valhalla,
they
baby.
still managed to make me feel.
Yeah.
And then they also made me feel seeing Heimdall again with Jane. You know, I was like, that's adorable.
That was great.
You
I
know, like
loved
I
all
felt
of
so
it.
good about that because earlier when we met Astrid or Axel, whichever you want to call him, I felt a little dirty about it, right? Because it's like,
Mhm.
you're in this position because you got rid of Heimdall. And but then the kid started growing on me. Honestly, he was warm. I was getting warmed up to him, and then like when I see him training with Sif, I'm like, this is a young Avenger for sure. You know, like.
Yep.
But when I finally got Heimdall at the end greeting Jane in Valhalla, I was like, oh, that's really adorable that they
Oh
got
yeah,
him
no,
to
they
come
they
back
did
one
it, and
last time.
it was so great.
Yeah, because I felt everybody felt really dirty about the way Heimdall went out, you know, because like
Oh
he'd complained a lot about like his character just never went anywhere in the MCU, and
yeah, they picked the wrong chips to cash in at the wrong time for Idris Elba, and thank
yeah,
you with Natalie Portman. That's why she checked out for what are the 7 years straight.
several years,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, but then
But,
they brought her back for like a way juicier part. And
oh
so
yeah.
like I
Mhm.
mean, also the chicks with big arms or ladies with big arms thing in this movie was pretty awesome. Like I felt like the women had great characterization, great parts, really interesting. I thought the chemistry between Valkyrie and Jane was pretty awesome. Like honestly, I was telling Dennis one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie is when they were like comparing what they were packing. And Jane's like, "Oh, my hammer," and then Valkyrie had the two swords, and then like the little speaker. It was just really cute, and just their whole like dynamic the entire time was awesome. Just like kind of this unspoken like bestie vibe. And then also this movie was so gay. Oh my goodness, so gay, just the whole time. So many references. Valkyrie kissing the hands of the ladies and
Yeah, so we talked about this briefly,
it's a
and I
good
think.
thing, by the way. I'm not
And yeah, no,
complaining.
yeah, it's not a bad thing.
It's good.
It's
Well, yeah, the
just
Korg
like the
thing,
original Top Gun was too, and it's fine.
No, this is like legitimately gay, not
Yeah,
like
no, I know,
people putting
but
stuff on it.
what I was gonna say is,
Oh, Taika.
to your point, it was very Taika, right? The entire movie felt like
Mhm.
100% Taika doing whatever. He got the keys to the
Yeah.
kingdom, and he was allowed to just run wild because they trusted him, right? And that felt so good. And by comparison, I think that's what, like I've said before, that's what felt so wrong about Multiverse of Madness, because not every scene in that movie felt like Sam Raimi. Like there were definitely certain Sam Raimi scenes where you're just like, yep, that's Sam Raimi. But then there were other scenes that just didn't feel that way. And I think that's why this was such it's an easier one to say. This is a much better movie experience because it didn't feel disjointed to me in that, like, it was a clear one consistent voice all the way through the movie, and pushing all of the things that Taika loves to push, which is like, you know, gay awareness, like child empowerment,
Mhm.
and like these themes of like dealing with like grief, like
Mhm.
in the way that he does. Like that's,
Mhm.
I mean,
I appreciate
She did
they
really
didn't try
well
to.
with like the well-rounded, strong women
Yeah.
theme too. Like,
Yeah.
Valkyrie was the businesswoman / king and the badass warrior. Jane was the scientist saving the world.
And the jock,
And
too.
the giant armed woman.
The giant armed jock, too, yeah.
Mhm.
She
I
got
like how
really
they-
into that
Yeah.
character, too.
Oh,
She
she was
was
pretty
really...
buff.
They were
She
good
was
friends.
She
They
wanted
were
to come up with
supportive.
catchphrases
They
like
had
"Eat my
warmth
hammer."
for each other. Yeah, so it's very well
I liked how they
rounded.
didn't try to find a MacGuffin for like a cure for cancer. In the
Yeah,
world.
well,
They had to accept it.
I did feel it was
Wow,
weird that she
alright.
was asking Selvig to help with her cancer. I was like, what is his specialty again? I thought he was an astrophysicist
And Norse mysticism.
and Norse mythology expert.
And
Smart.
cancer.
They're all smart. Hey, Darcy was hacking shit in WandaVision, so like I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I got.
Maybe
it was
it's
nice
like when
to get.
artists are really into multiple mediums, so they're saying like scientists don't specialize either. They just like dabble.
I mean, Bruce
in
Banner built a
cancer
fucking time machine.
research.
Like that man is about radiation, right? Like
I mean,
I think Marvel
Iron
doesn't
Man-
really
Iron
know
Man
or
built a
care
time
about
machine.
that though.
Iron Man proved that time travel could work.
Yeah,
Iron
Marvel
Man-
just kind of goes science is everything, and they just
Yeah,
throw everything at the
yeah.
wall, and
That man
everyone
built
can
an
do
Infinity Gauntlet
whatever.
off screen.
Everyone
Yeah.
can just do whatever with science. It's
It was
magic.
just weird. It's
But-
like, hey, Selvig, can you cure cancer? Because if so, you should have done that a while
But
ago.
in a world of all the great inventions and magic and stuff, I kind of like how she wasn't, or there wasn't like this fix all
yeah, no,
power thing.
no.
Like it's a very real situation, like for that
Yeah.
movie.
And you know what? The other funny thing about this movie is it was a rom-com,
Mhm.
but with the hammers.
Yeah, see, I didn't care for that. I didn't care for like the weird hammer personification love thing.
That's
But it's been there-
very that's
it's been
very
there in all
Norse
the
mythology
movies.
though.
It's
Like
been in all the
extremely.
movies.
The hammers
Yeah.
have emotions and personalities.
Yes.
All right. If you tell me, I'm going to believe it. I from what has been established in
And
this,
the personification
What's
of the
been
hammer.
established? He personified the
specifically
crap out of that thing in the last
Mjolnir
movie.
Is like an extension of his masculinity,
Which
both
Korg
emotionally
basically-
and physically in Norse mythology. So it totally
And
makes
Korg-
sense.
Korg said that in the last movie, right? It
Mhm.
sounds to me like your hammer was really an extension of you, and blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah.
they definitely make the hammer.
but the
jokes.
arc in that movie is proving that he doesn't need the hammer, right?
True that he doesn't need the hammer to
Like
use his
he is not the god
powers.
of hammer. He
uses his
the god-
powers.
Yeah.
But
the hammer
arc
is the
of the
conduit.
next- but then the
The
arc
next
of the
movie.
next movie
I gotta
is,
get another
I
hammer.
need a new hammer. Yeah, exactly. So
Um,
I will say this, and I don't want to dwell on it too much, but like I am a little confused that the key to eternity is a hammer that didn't exist before a few years ago.
No, the key is
it's
Bifrost.
Bifrost. Yeah, that's what I took from it.
Oh, what? Because
The key was Bifrost. That's
I
why
thought
they had
we're-
the Bifrost icon.
No,
on there.
but the picture is also Stormbreaker shooting Bifrost at the.
Bro,
the-
they specifically say Bifrost.
They
is
say
the
Bifrost,
key
but to
multiple
counter
times.
that point, Stormbreaker, that shit was already a mold by the time he got to E3 in
But
Infinity War. Like, I would assume there has been a Stormbreaker before, because he did not create a mold in 30 seconds that we saw him.
yeah, I'm
That's fair.
not really worried about this whole
Yeah.
thread with the Stormbreaker.
Well, you know what I'm
but
worried about? I'm worried about
what?
when the hell do we get a Beta Ray Bill? Because it's time.
tomorrow.
It's
tomorrow.
time for Beta Ray
Yeah,
Bill.
wait for Thor
Tomorrow.
5 when he returns.
The Valkyrie's Pegasus is gonna pick up Stormbreaker and done.
How was Gore?
Wait,
Christian
what?
Bale was fantastic.
Gore the God Butcher.
Christian Bale, like as soon as that movie started with a poor man in the desert and his daughter and him holding her until she dies from
Yeah, he
starvation.
was good. That makeup
was
was
like-
good too. Shout out to you makeup artists out there. That was good makeup, dude, during that
Yeah.
whole scene.
And I really love that they were very clear about establishing that the sword curses its wielders. And so it allowed Christian Bale to go full villain.
Mhm.
Like he got Gollum-y, right? Like he
No,
got
I loved it.
really
His face,
He
his
did
emotions,
so good.
his-
We got to see his
super
stretchy
expressions,
face. I haven't seen
elastic
that in a
face,
while.
yeah.
How is Marvel not sued by Sony though? I don't understand. That character is a rip.
Every character is a rip. Every character is a rip.
He looked exactly like Kratos. Exactly. Yes, like during the Garden of Eden scene.
Like a skinny Kratos.
He started turning white, dude.
I will say between Gore decapitating people and just killing people left and right, and then the amount of times the word shitty was used, and also full nudity by Chris Hemsworth, I would say this was the one that of all the Disney Marvel movies that really leaned into that PG-13, man. They were and all the references to orgy. You know what I kept thinking of? All the times they said orgy in that movie is how that one time we said orgy and like we were like, maybe we shouldn't say that in like the first 2 minutes of our show.
Even care.
Yeah. Now we well, now I know that they can say it in the Thor movie left and right.
They just don't even care.
They were just talking about orgies left and right in that movie. It was pretty impressive. I was quite entertained as a childish adult. I was quite entertained by all the things that happened in that movie.
So Roy Kent, how are we feeling about that?
Well, that's not his actual name.
Yeah,
that's not his name.
Hercules.
He's talking about Hercules.
Oh,
Hercules.
Yes. I love
He's talking about the character from Ted Lasso.
I love it. I love that
playing
actor.
Hercules. Yes,
that's a good.
I love that
good
actor.
Hercules, though.
Bring him in.
That's a good looking Hercules.
It's a different take. It's a different take entirely than I would have expected.
You want more buff flavor? Or what are we talking?
No.
He's going to be all gruff and like toxic as hell, and then he's going to get better over time.
Hercules is known for being.
Will be warmed.
He's the Avenger with the biggest smile all the time. He's the fun Avenger.
He was on screen for like 3 seconds.
But he's on a mission of vengeance, like which is not like, and he's played by the guy who plays Roy Kent, who is not known for being a big personality.
Yeah, but he's like a comedian in like real life, so.
I don't know why Hercules has the biggest smile in like Disney movies and all this stuff though, because that does not fit.
I don't mean Disney. I mean Marvel. I mean Marvel.
No, Hercules. I know, but the Disney version too is like very like
who do we see
brash
first?
Guy.
Because Guy Ritchie is doing the Hercules live action movie, like the animated movie live action. Do we see that Hercules first or this Hercules first?
Well,
again.
Okay, you mean again. I don't know. If it's Thor 5, it's going to be a while. If it's an Avengers movie where Hercules shows up, then maybe that's sooner, you know. I don't know that I care. And I am excited that we got a Hercules in the post credits. Like
he's a West Coast Avenger, right? Typically?
No.
He is an Avenger there, right?
He's just an Avenger. Okay. Yeah. He's not. He's more a New York one. Hangs out with She-Hulk, and some other ones.
We'll see her in a few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, that could be interesting if he shows up and he's like, "Hey, I'm looking for this guy named Thor." I don't know, but yeah, no, they crammed in a lot there with Zeus. Like the entire like Lindsay called it the Citadel of Gods, the Citadel of Ricks. There were
a lot of citadels nowadays.
That citadel was so amazing to look at. I can't wait to have it on Disney Plus so I can just pause it and look at all of the brilliantly designed like characters that were there. There were even Korg's god was sitting there on a throne of scissors. What the hell was that? Like
Rock defeat scissors.
Oh, that's so good! I didn't even think about that, Ricky.
I didn't get that.
It's like Game of Thrones with the swords.
Yes.
Oh my God, Rock beats scissors.
I didn't get it. That's great.
That's funny. That's pretty good.
I was also confused by that, but
I like the god stuff. There's a part of me that wants an explanation, like, cause they hinted at, return, like you have the gods, right? But like there's this other stuff above them.
We saw some celestials there too, by the way.
Some celestials, does that open the door for Galactus? Because I feel like that. Where does Galactus live in that hierarchy? Is he a god? Is he?
I think Galactus was created. No, he's less than a god. He was a man at one point, but I believe he was created by the Celestials.
Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I don't know. I don't know that it needs to be like same like with like Singularity. Like the Galactus origin is weird because like it's weird to know that he's this balancing force that is supposed to exist to maintain like this balance in the universe, but at the same time like he wasn't always there because somebody made him. So it's kind of cool the idea of him just being something that's always been there, you know, and everybody's time comes due eventually. But yeah, I don't, because Galactus is not a malevolent force, you know what I mean? Like he's just he's a thing.
Stuff.
He just has to eat to survive, and it's just like any animal.
His thing.
Yeah, any animal in nature. So we'll see. But like I think to answer your question, I don't think that I'm worried about how they will fit him in when fit him in, because they've shown so much, especially in these last two Thor movies, the reverence for that art and for that lore is there, right? Like that's why I just want to pause all those scenes, because like it was just so cool to look at it visually, and like those weird owl people at the beginning of the movie. What were those, man? They look like Jim Henson creations.
Yeah,
they look like those little things from the Dark Crystal, like the fizz.
Yeah, they were so cool looking. There was so many like, and I know that one god that was the friendly god where he found Sif. I know that was a straight panel from the comics, but so beautiful, like just so breathtaking to look at all of these scenes. And like the speed at which that movie moves does not do a lot of the art design justice. Like there's so many things to look at. Like
I'm definitely like pausing stuff when we get that movie.
Valkyrie's like nighttime outfit when she comes out to fight the
that was incredible.
Like she's just wearing like shorts and a shirt, you know, like so
Phantom of the Opera shirt.
Yeah, Phantom of the Opera shirt. I'm sorry.
Long socks.
Valkyrie was an amazing character in that movie.
Oh, no, I liked her whole role and her role. No qualms about Valkyrie in this movie at all.
If you wanted her dead.
I was happy. I was cool that she died. Like,
okay. No qualms when I hope she dies.
I would have felt something.
But you didn't feel something
to the death point. Kind of wish we would have saw a little bit more god butchering before the dude called Gore the God Butcher.
They said he killed tons of gods. Like they just haven't really introduced that many into the Marvel universe anyway. And once you kill someone, they're gone. So they just kind of said, "Oh, he's killed thousands of gods." Yeah,
no, I get your point, but like I don't know that was gonna. We saw him kill the one at the beginning, and then we saw the other cool giant one dead. I think we got the point that he was doing.
Just go play like God of War, Ricky.
Yeah, seriously, just go play.
I started it. I should finish it.
Oh, you haven't played it? Oh, I was joking.
I played like the first hour.
What? You could just go to 3. Like honestly, like
I'm talking about the new one. Sorry, of
the new one. Yeah. Kid. The other ones are masterpieces, but it's just you don't need to play them at this point. I feel like.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
3 is not the one you're thinking of, Lindsay.
No, I meant
you meant 4.
I meant the Norse one, yeah.
Yeah, that's 4 technically.
Sorry, I did not mean 3.
3 is the worst one.
Sorry, Santa Monica.
Sorry, I'm just putting that out there. Awkward. But we're clearly derailing, which means we're probably done talking like about Thor for the moment. I think the point was we all liked that movie to varying degrees. I think Lindsay and I were far more entertained than Ricky, but that's because Ricky doesn't have a soul, and that's okay.
You know, if I go to that restaurant again, I might order the same pizza. That's kind of how I look at it. I wouldn't mind watching it again.
Do you think Thor's naked body was what was in the Pulp Fiction briefcase? just based on their reaction.
That man is ripped.
That
Oh
was the
my
most jacked he's ever been. He was a sight to behold. I was pretty impressed. Yeah. What? What?
I thought the reaction was funny. He was quite ripped.
He was
ripped.
It's like it's just like
He was
impressive.
real life
I'm just not huge on huge dudes, so. But I get it. I get it.
I'm not huge on huge dudes.
He's a huge dude that can act.
I totally understand the work that
he can act pretty well. Yeah.
That is a level of commitment that I will never reach.
And then
anything in my
And then before we go, I like an extra level of commitment that we learned. We learned today. Extra level of commitment. He was so committed to making the experience pleasant for Natalie Portman, his co-star, who is a vegan, that on the day of filming their kissing scene, he elected to not eat any meat all morning long so that he wouldn't have to put even the slightest taste of meat in her mouth. And she was so humbled by that because it's not something she would ever thought a co-star would do. But that's just a pure gentleman.
That's weird.
Apparently he eats meat every 30 minutes.
He needs to eat a lot of meat. He has to eat a lot of protein.
Hey, Natalie, I didn't eat meat today for this. That's weird if you tell her, right?
Maybe. Nah. Not if she takes it well. Not if she takes it well.
I think it depends on how you approach it. Like if he's just like, I don't want you to worry because
I just want you to know I'm starving because I didn't eat meat for you. You know, like
no, not if he said it like that. But if he genuinely thought she would be bothered by it and just wanted to let her know she doesn't have to worry about it, like that.
Hey man, it's in your contract.
I'm happy that
in any case, she seemed happy about it, and so did Tessa Thompson.
He's happy. I'm glad he's still on the board because there was a higher percentage of him checking out at the end of this movie, given how many he's done. But I'm glad to see that he's still there. We still got the strongest Avenger somewhere in space.
Yes, we still do have Hulk.
And the mightiest Avenger.
The mightiest, I suppose.
What is Thor? The strongest or the mightiest? What's his name? His nickname?
His name is
the Thunderiest.
No. It's that Keanu Reeves movie.
Point Break.
Yeah, Point Break. His name's Point Break.
Oh, yeah.
What?
That's his name.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
That's what Tony Stark calls him, Point Break.
Oh.
It's Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze. Don't worry about it. It's a joke. But it's funny.
It's a good month, man. We got Miss Marvel next week. We're gonna wrap that up. We got a Comic-Con coming up. We're gonna hopefully know some more cool stuff coming out. Legion of the She-Hulk. Like I'm excited that a lot of this content that we've been getting has been not for the purpose of a higher goal, a higher story. You know, they're all kind of independent for the most part. So I could probably do one or two more of those before I want the loop to come back around. But I'm liking where we're at. I don't know how about us.
They're just Sanrio charactering right now. They're making sure everyone has their Sanrio characters, so you could buy the pencil pouch.
That's a pretty good way of looking at it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I have no complaints. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying hanging out on Friday nights talking about all the nerdy stuff. Like I'm also really excited that in the coming months we're gonna get some DC stuff again because like I really freaking love Peacemaker. I love Peacemaker so much. It was awesome, and I'm mildly excited for Black Adam. I think there's a lot of potential there. I'm not so excited for whatever else might come down the line, but
Shazam?
for now. But I do like where you were going with that, Ricky. Is it felt like a nice conclusion to our show. So I'm gonna let that like evolve organically into yes, that was a good movie, and we have a lot to look forward to. But we got to wrap the show up. So before we go, I just want to say thanks to Lindsay and Ricky for nerding out with me today. We'll be back, like Ricky said, next week to discuss some more super news and the season finale of Miss Marvel. I'm not going to tell you who our guest is yet because I'm still trying to lock her down.
She gets the suit.
Yeah, spoiler, she gets the suit. Thanks to our patrons for supporting our growth, and to our audience for tuning in. If you had fun, please remember to like and subscribe, and check us out on Patreon for our after show, The Soapbox, which should be starting moments from now. One more time, Lindsay, if you want to plug where people can find you.
Yes. You can find me at CCowSoda on Instagram or ccowsoda.com. Please consider supporting those two art auctions that I'm involved in. One is Artisan Solidarity, which is benefiting Border Kindness and No Mas Muertes. And then the other one is Art Reach San Diego, which is buying a bunch of cool shoes. So check it out, or follow me at CCowSoda on Instagram, and I will tell you where to do that.
There you go.
Thank you for having
All right.
me.
I think that's it. See you next time on Den Excelsior, true believers. Enough said.
Bye, guys.